BOFA Indy Classic Series is on the air. Live from the Empire State. It's the nightmare before Christmas. Tony Sprasso up in the booth with you tonight, joined with me by my partner in crime, my brother from another mother, Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett, chief cook and bottle washer for the BOFA Indy Classic Series. Sam, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm back.
He's back and he's sober.
Yeah, over this time. Good to be back with the BOFA Indy Classic Series. I know I took a week out last week due to personal reasons, but I am back here tonight. And we have got a stack filled for this one here tonight, Tony. It's going to be an absolute barn burner, and it's going to be a challenge for most of these guys here tonight as well. Very
much so. And the latest iRacing update is one of the things we need to touch on. It's really throwing a monkey wrench into the works for fixed setup leagues like this one, where everybody's running the same car. And
yeah.
It's kind of... I'm not going to say it's catching us out, but it's definitely making things a little more less driver-friendly than it has been in the past for the guys.
Yes, the Dynamic Skies has really thrown a monkey wrench into the works here tonight. The track temperature is changing all the time, and it is catching drivers out left, right, and centre. And during the hot lap sessions, we had a person literally spinning almost on every lap. So it's going to be interesting to see how these guys handle it. It's going to be interesting to see how the aliens handle it tonight. As it's going to be interesting to see how things turn out tonight. As
the other thing we got to touch upon is how many new faces we're seeing here tonight.
Yeah, let me go down the list of people who are making their debuts here tonight. Brandon Ryan making his debut tonight.
Your current pole setter.
Yeah, Chris Bouchard making his long-awaited debut here tonight, and it's making his debut at a track he absolutely loves. So it's going to be interesting to see him out there tonight. Dylan Vose making his debut tonight. Bobby O'Neill, I don't think he's going to be here tonight, so he won't be making his debut. Chris Simard making his debut, and Jack Myers making his debut as well. So lots of new faces here tonight, and some more experienced than others, shall we say?
Some more experienced than others. The biggest thing is seat time in this car. We've said it before, and it was more important. It was important before. Excuse me. Tonight's heartburn brought to you by McDonald's. It's even more important now. Seat time and familiarity with this car is really going to bring the cream of the crop to the top, and because this car drives so differently. And the other thing too is with all the dynamic sky that's going on and how it's affecting the track temperature, this car literally will try to kill you on cold tires.
Yeah, it's going to need at least a couple of laps just to get the tires warmed up to a stage where you can actually throw the car into the corners. I mean, even people like Sage Karam, it's taken a lot of time for them to get ready, and even Sage is struggling out there tonight. Not even at the top of the scoring time in the scoring, as Brandon Ryan currently sits on the pole. He's a good almost 5/10 of a second faster than Sage Karam. So it's catching everybody out, even the professionals.
And we're following along with Sage right now, and you can see just how much he's struggling by the attitude of that car as he goes around the track. You can see that he's really, you know, the car is not sticking the way that he's probably used to this car sticking, as he's actually drifting coming out of the boot, which is not something you want to do on a regular basis in a ground effects car.
Yeah, but this car is awesome when it drifts.
Oh yeah, if you can get it right and not kill yourself while doing it, oh yeah, it's so great. As he's drifting through the final corner onto the front straightaway, let's see what this lap time is going to do, as he's finally got some heat in the tires.
It's going to be a good one, and straight to the pole goes Sage Karam with 1:35.832, but that is not the fastest lap we've seen this week. We've seen drivers like Chris Bouchard, he got up into the 1:34s the other day, so expect those lap times to come down considerably before this session is over.
And Chris Bouchard has not put a time up yet, I might add. Still trying to get some heat into those giant Goodyear Racing Eagles. And I say giant because you look at the rear tire on this car, it's a 13 by 18. It's a 13-inch rim and an 18-inch wide tire. That's a lot of rubber to try to get some heat into, folks.
Yeah. This is why I was shocked when they decided to make the Formula One, the modern day Formula One cars have those big rear tires again, because, well, it's not really done much for the modern day Formula One cars, because it's still impossible to, well, it's still easy to drive compared to the old one.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you talk about all the electronic gadgetry and electronic wizardry. As Samard loops it coming out of 12.
Yep, Chris Samard, one of the debutants here tonight.
Bouchard's starting a flyer now.
As is Nate Siefka. He's already into the carousel.
Let's take a look at Siefker, who has not put a time up yet as well. Starting into the boot now.
And one man we've got to focus on here tonight, Tony, is Connor Ojeda. He's going to be looking to extend his points lead here tonight. Mark Walker and Johnny Antonucci and Nate Siefka are all in the session tonight, so they'll be hoping to close the gap on the man in the 17. But Connor Ojeda, not usually a road course guy, so this could really work in the other's favor here tonight.
It could, but Connor, you know, we've seen Connor show a lot of maturity as of late. You know, if he's not comfortable with the track or the setup, as Siefker drifting through the left-hander and into the final corner, let's see what type of lap this is going to be for Siefker. But we've seen Ojeda show a lot of maturity as of late, and Siefker right to the second quick with a 35.6. You know, but he's willing to pit start. He's willing to just take it easy. He's really understanding the severity of the fact that he's leading the points. And I don't think he could possibly take it any more seriously if he tried to. And Chris Bouchard still not putting a clean lap together, at least dipping 2 tires there. Going to try it again here as he's rolling out of the pits one more time.
Yeah, his lap time got scrubbed. He touched the wall on the outside of the final turn. Had a clean lap for the most part, but that final turn caught him out. He touched the wall, and that was the end of his lap right there and then. So he's going to go out there and try it again. Still got 10 minutes to get it done, though, so he's got enough time.
And another one who's not normally a road racer, our good friend Mr. Grumpy Bunce himself coming out of the pits now. So going to be interesting to see what type of lap Grumpy can lay down.
Well, he's looking for his 5th top 10 on the bounce here tonight. A lot more drivers in this field tonight, so it's going to be a bit more of an uphill struggle. But if we've doubted James Bunce before, I don't think we should doubt him.
No, you've doubted James Bunce before.
But he's looking for number 5 here tonight, and he's capable of doing it. He did it at the last road course we were at Road America. I'm pretty sure he can do it again here tonight.
And a name that's a little late to the party tonight, Tyler Vickery showing up.
Yeah. He has been practicing, though. So
he has been practicing, but he hasn't been practicing tonight. And we've heard all the drivers say that with the dynamic sky... Oh, as Buncey eats the wall coming through the toe of the boot. But 50-50 rail slide with a Schumacher paint scheme on the helmet. Yeah.
And the scores are in from the judges for the rail slide, and it's 95, 95, 95, and a 92 by the Romanian judge.
When did Romania start getting into skateboarding?
I don't know. It's starting to scare me.
But speaking of contests and little fun things that we do, tonight's drinking game.
Siefker's on the pole, by the way.
Siefker goes to quick time with a 35 flat. Holy crap. Wow. But, yeah, tonight's drinking game. Place your bets now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to put the over-under at 6. And that number is the number of cars that survive turn 1. If you bet the over, for every car over 6 that has to take a tow back to the pits, you have to take a shot. If you bet the under, If the field makes it through turn 1 successfully, for every car that makes it through turn 1, you have to make a shot.
Yeah. Either way, it's going to be better than the last time we were at a road course. Road America, they didn't even get off the start line, so...
Well, we can hope that they get off the starting line.
Yeah.
So...
The actual race itself had to start behind the pace car, so...
Yeah. As we're back with Bouchard, seeing what type of lap time he can click off here, as he's on a flyer right now. Just got to keep it between the curbs and not eat the wall coming out of the final turn. It looks like this might be a clean lap for Bouchard.
Wow!
Second quick. And Siefker's into the 34s. Holy cow. And Siefker is around in the toe of the boot. Okay.
I mean, when I saw Nate Siefker, he didn't start driving this track in this car until earlier today when we had the 4-hour practice session, and he was pushing the living daylights out of the car even then. So I knew what he was aiming for, and he was aiming for that 134 mark, and he's finally got it here in qualifying. Question is, can he keep it up in the race? Because qualifying pace and race pace are two different things completely.
Right, and we all know that you're going to need to take at least a full lap, if not more, with the way that the weather conditions are tonight. Let's take a quick look at the current weather conditions. 104-degree track temperature.
Yeah, it's gone up a couple of degrees since the hot lap session, so the sun is shining on that track right now, making the track even hotter. Since even in the 14 minutes since the hot lap sessions ended, the temperature's actually got hotter, and it's going to start playing havoc with these guys out on track.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's going to put it into the driver's hands from here on out, because everybody's playing from the same same sandbox.
Yeah. As there comes Bouchard again to complete another lap, and he doesn't improve this time.
Actually, a full second off of his previous lap, and eats the wall coming out of one.
So only 12 drivers have set time so far. Tyler Vickery, Conor O'Hader, Mark Walker, Joe Morganti, Jack Myers, and James Bunt's yet to set a time.
Okay, so real quick, if you follow along with Bouchard coming out of the pits, that's the line they've got to cross. Coming out of turn 1, 6 cars are going to cross the line at pit out. That's the over-under tonight, folks. I'm going to put the over-under at 6 of number of cars that survive turn 1. So place your bets now, over, under. If you're wrong, you'll take a shot for every car you're wrong.
This is an 18-car field. Let's just point it that way. So he's got to get rid of... So in order to get the 6, you have to get rid of 2/3 of the field.
That's what I'm saying. 12 cars are not going to make it past that line on the opening lap.
Yeah. There's Karen's back out on track now. Coming for the final corner now. Let's see what he can put down. Oh, almost touches the wall coming out of the final corner. Let's see what he gets across the line. And 134.665 for Sage Karam. What a time.
Took him a couple laps to figure it out. But it's going to be a good race to see, what type of, mental control these top guys can really, maintain, because it's... Sam, how many laps are we doing tonight?
45.
So 45 laps, you figure it's going to take them a minute and a half, roughly, to do each lap. So, yeah. I mean, we're talking an hour for this race.
As Dylan Vose jumps up to 5th place, so good to see him doing well on his debut.
Yeah. Dylan Vose doing well.
Is that a Tyrrell-inspired car that he's driving?
I was gonna ask you the same question. Is that like an 80s?
No, that's a Ligier.
Okay.
It's got a load of French stuff on it. It's a Ligier.
Or as a former friend of mine from college, it's a Liger. No. No, kill yourself now. Just
Throw yourself off the balcony.
go ahead and have this nice big cup of bleach here. I want a 4.0 for the semester. Just drink this cup of bleach and call it good. But how do you say it? And you're in mechanical engineering for motorsports, and you don't know how to pronounce that team name. A company you might actually. Yeah.
It's one of the most legendary teams in road racing.
Yeah.
And they still compete in endurance racing today. So.
And that's what I pointed out to him. I go, that's a company you might actually work for one day. You might want to learn how to pronounce the name of the company.
I mean, Guy Ligier, the man that brought the team to Formula One and endurance racing, one of the most decorated men in motorsport. Not as a driver, but as a team
owner and a team principal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've had 14 cars take time.
Yep, Tyler Vickery's finally put a time down.
Okay, that's what I saw bouncing around there. As there's Vickery running the STP paint scheme.
Yep.
Made famous by Lone Star JR himself, Mr. Johnny Rutherford. Wrong number on the car, Tyler. Working with his teammate, I might add, as he and Chris Bouchard are teaming up for tonight.
Yep, they seem to have teamed up for this series, so good to see them working together on this, although the way Chris Bouchard just passed them, I don't think they're going to be...
Yeah, there's not going to be much working together, except maybe on the start.
A lot of Formula One headgear going on here. Tyler Vickery's got an Ayrton Senna helmet on tonight. Oh, save it, kid!
Definitely not a Senna-esque save.
No. Not at all.
Chris Samard has finally put a time down, going 9th quick. How about Brandon Ryan?
Yeah, absolutely. Putting times down here tonight. 1:35.9 is fastest time so far. He's hanging up there with the big boys, even in his first race here tonight, driving the Yellow Submarine here tonight.
I was going to say Nuclear Banana, but yeah, close enough.
Second flag is out on the track, so qualifying will be coming into an end very soon. Yeah, it's going to be a close race here tonight. I mean, even with the people that haven't taken time here tonight, Mark Walker, Jack Myers, Conor O'Hader, and John Morganti not taking time yet. So
Robert O'Neill not taking time as well.
He's not in the session. He's gone.
That would explain why he hasn't taken time.
Yep. But yeah, even Brandon Ryan, he wins the award for the best helmet of the night. He's rocking the Nigel Mansell helmet.
Sage Karen coming around, drifting the final corner for his final flyer.
And across the line, what's he got? A 34.9, so not his fastest lap.
And here comes the sensational Swede himself into the pits. Nice.
Yep, abandons his qualifying lap, but 6th place is good enough, just ahead of Scotty Brinson, who's looking to get his first road course win of the season. He's won on ovals the last 2 times. So.
Yeah, we've got to talk about the elephant in the room. Is Ernie Ludwig led a good number of laps last week and was just had it stolen from him.
Same for Paul Crumry.
And I was going to mention that too. Paul Crumry led the most laps, and I'm going to come right out and say it. iRacing fucked him.
Yep. As Tyler Vickery just knocks Paul Crumry out of the top 10, he sneaks him into 10th place with a 1:36.961. So Vickery, he's been practicing more than we think he has, because he's not doing too badly out there right now.
And Samard across for his final lap, going to be a 36.5. So that is going to do it for qualifying. 14 cars taking time. And throw a blanket over your top 3, and then there's pretty decent gap from their back. But there's going to be some close racing because there's some close pairings in there, and we'll go through them as we see them. So Sage Karam going quick time with a 34.66. He's going to be joined on the pole with up on the front row with Nate Siefker. Both those drivers, the only two going into the 34s in qualifying. Row number 2 is going to go to Chris Bouchard, making his debut along with Brandon Ryan. So an all-debut second row. Row 3 is going to see Dylan Vos and Marcus Hagman. Row 4, Scotty Brinson and Ernie Ludwig. Sam?
Row 5 is going to see Chris Simard and Tyler Vickery. Row 6 is going to see Paul Cromroy and Johnny Antonucci. Johnny Antonucci looking to move up. We'll get closer to Conor O'Hader. We'll get into that in a minute. Row 7 is Kevin O'Brien and James Bunce. Row 8 is Conor O'Hader and Mark Walker. And starting shotgun on the field, make it a field of 18 drivers, is Jack Myers and Joe Morganti.
As the cars are gridding up, and no, folks, you're not seeing things. Yeah, this is going to be what you think it's going to be. A standing start.
Yep, this is one of the cornerstones of this series. I always said that, the road courses that we go to, and it's been backed by many of the drivers in the series as well, that we do go to standing starts when we go to the road courses. I mean, when we go to the IRO 5 next season, that's going to be interesting to see when we do the standing starts.
Very much so, as we're still waiting on a couple drivers to grid.
Sage Karam, one of them.
Siefker just got on the grid. And
There's Karam.
Yep. Let me see if I can get a decent...
Can't say those words, Tony.
Grandpa, Papa Viagra, it's time to get it on at the Glen.
As we wait for the lights to go off, and the green flag is out, and away we go. Everybody getting away cleanly, more or less, this time round. And it's a dash down to turn 1. Who could survive the first corner? Chris Bouchard going to dive in on Siefker. Siefker go around the outside of Sage Karam as they come out of turn 1. And everyone survived, Tony.
So if you bet the under...
You lose badly. What a start, Tony.
That was an awesome start. And look at these 3 guys just glued together. And this is where the real separation is going to happen, is who can get through the carousel cleanly and into the boot. Because this is where we've seen a lot of guys have trouble tonight.
Absolutely, as Paul Cromroy going wide through the carousel there, going into the boot, not having the best of starts himself. He drops a few positions, but Sage Karam is out in the lead, and Bouchard has got around Nate Siefker now. Brandon Ryan not too far behind either, as they make their way up the hill and out towards the exit of the boot.
And Marcus Hagman has Dylan Vos all over his back wing. Vos to the inside now as they go into the heel of the boot. Hagman lets him have it, and here comes Ludwig as well. This is your battle for 5th, really starting to heat up now.
Wow, everybody's so stacked up now as they come out of the boot. And everybody controlling it really well out of the boot as well. So everybody taking advice from race control here, just telling when they told them to be careful on the grid and going for the first corner. Everybody getting away cleanly here tonight. What a start by everybody here tonight. I'm really impressed.
Absolutely. I mean, these guys are really starting to show the type of talent that we've got in this league. The fact that Paul Cromroy, unfortunately, on pit road. Not sure what happened to Paul. May have biffed it coming out of the boot there. No, he drove it onto pit.
Yeah.
So
as Mark Walker didn't take the green either, so not sure what's going on there.
But we are back live at the front of the field, and Ernie Ludwig working on, Scotty Brinson working on Ernie Ludwig right now, making it around the hard way on the outside of the carousel. Into the boot they come. Vickery sideways, and Smart gets into him.
And Vickery into the outside wall on the entrance to the boot. Smart got damage as well. You might want to go back and now look at that one, Tony.
I did. He got it sideways. He got hip checked by Samard, threw the car to the right to get out of everybody's way. So heads up driving, heads up driving by Vickery to try to get that car out of everybody's way because he knew exactly where he was sitting and he was about to get clobbered.
Yeah. Meanwhile, back at the front, Sage Karam not able to get away from Bouchard or Sivka as he comes out of the final corner to complete lap 2.
And they're doing the Indy snake down the straightaway at Watkins Glen.
Yeah. Karam not having it his own way at all here tonight.
And this is, I hate to say it the way this is going to sound, but this is something we've been hoping to see all season. Because, you know, the level of road course prowess that Sage has, it's good to see two guys able to keep him honest like this.
Yeah, and they're doing the Indy snake again, going towards the carousel. I'm not sure that's a good idea. They're doing it anyway. And Chris Bouchard really keeping him honest, though. Dave's been just trailing off a little bit, but he's still right there regardless.
This is an impressive drive by Bouchard, who, you know, arguably not really an open wheel guy. We've seen him a ton in the full fendered stuff, but not as much in the open wheel stuff. You know, to see him come out like this and be able to really throw this car around like he's been able to do, that's impressive.
Yeah. And he's really right on the tail of Sage Karam as well. And Bouchard usually does well around this track. We've seen him time and time again in the stock cars around this track. Who can remember the battles he had in the Pasky series when he was right up there with the leaders, trying to battle for the win in the trucks and really taking it to these guys. He knows what he's doing around here, and he definitely knows how to get it done, even if it's in a car that he's not really familiar with. And I did speak to Chris Bouchard earlier in the week when he took part in the first practice session. He said he's only here for one reason, and that's to win. So a bold statement there by Chris Bouchard.
Well, that's when Chris shows up to a track, that's all he's ever there for. He's not there to just collect points. He's there to really, you know, come home with the big trophy.
Yeah. As Karam's starting to get away from Bouchard now.
And Tyler Vickery has left the building. Nope, he hasn't. Just connection issues.
Paul Crumry out on his own as well. He's down in 17th. Not one lap down. Thankfully, this track is long enough, so he's actually made a pit stop and stayed out on the lead lap. Same for Tyler Vickery. He's probably had to take a reset, and
he hasn't yet. He's still limping a damaged car around.
Yeah, and he's got the points leader right in front of him. Conor O'Haida's right there.
And race control might want to let Vickery know that he's blinking profusely right now.
Yeah, I've got an eye on it.
So, getting back to last week's race at Michigan, league management did hand down some penalties after reviewing the events that took place, and 3 drivers did receive yellow cards.
Yeah, and let me just go into more detail about this. When we say yellow cards, during the week after the Michigan race, when I did return from my leave of absence, I did introduce a new system of a card system, which is similar to soccer. Get your hate mail coming. If you drive like a jackass, you get a yellow card, and you will receive a warning. And race control will be, league management and league admins will be watching you very closely for the next few races. If you fail to basically book up your ideas, then you'll be given a red card, and you will have to sit out one race. So a couple of drivers having the yellow card moment from Michigan, and luckily one of them isn't here tonight. So actually 2 of them aren't here tonight. So
yeah, I was going to say two of them aren't here tonight. So probably not a bad idea. As we're watching this battle up towards the front again, as the field's starting to get more strung out than a frat boy on a bender.
I should expect for a road course.
the biggest battle right now is your battle for 10th. Grumpy's got it, and Kevin O'Brien wants it.
Yeah, and they're not too far behind Johnny Antonucci either, as Bunty... Oh, Bunty almost getting it wrong for the carousel. On for the carousel.
No, that's through the heel of the boot.
Yeah.
That's that's definitely a situation that'll make you change the flavor of your fire suit pretty quick.
Yeah, I did say they were catching Johnny Antonucci, but...
Not anymore.
That mistake. Yeah, not anymore. They're ahead of Marcus Hagman. Something's happened to Hagman at some point here. He's got some pretty serious front wing damage. Not sure what's happened there to the man in the 099.
If I had to venture a guess, he probably got into somebody, and I think he got... Okay, yeah, no, he got caught up in that thing with Vickery earlier.
Vickery and Samard.
Yeah. And let's check in with Samard. Where the hell is... Running 8th. So there's Samard. Not a ton of damage. A little bit of side pod damage on the Mountain Dew 77. But nothing major. That's, you know... That's fast repairable, and shouldn't hamper him too much. Doesn't seem to be affecting him at all, as he's putting up times that rival what he was doing in qualifying. And Kevin O'Brien has gotten by Bunce.
Yeah, Bunce let him by. He realised he didn't want to fight this early in the race and just let him have it. So, good heads-up driving there by Bunce, and he lives to fight another day. As struggling again going through that same corner.
And Brinson loops it coming through the exit of the boot. Let's go back and take a look at that one. Just gets it all wrong. Gets on the power too hard because you're cresting a hill coming out of the boot, and the car gets very light. And he just tried to feed it too much beans too quickly, and she was gassed up and farted on him.
That's luckily still holding on to a top 10 spot, but Johnny Antonucci is closing on him at a fast rate of pace. That is because that Scott Brinson now has front wing damage.
Well, he ate the curb. He ate the curb. That's why.
Yeah, he's going to have to burn a fast repair once he goes into pit road, or he's going to have to pit farm it. Either one.
Now, Sam, unfortunately, I wasn't able to make the practice sessions earlier in the week. About how many laps are we looking for a fuel run here?
I absolutely have no idea.
Fair enough. As Hagman getting by Bunce now as well.
Yeah, me being the driver that I am, I couldn't keep it in a straight line long enough.
Fair enough. And people wonder why I like short track racing, because it's over and done with quickly.
Yeah. Stage cab now almost 2.5 seconds to the good over Chris Bouchard. Really feeling the car underneath him at this point of the race as through the final corner. Bouchard got a bit of a gap over Nate Seafker as well, so he's not exactly in a treacherous position himself. So the top three getting really spread out now as they are 7 seconds to the good over Brandon Ryan now.
Make that 8 seconds to the good. That's impressive. That's the fact that we know the type of driver that Brandon is, and the fact that these guys are able to really stretch that much of a lead over him. So there's Seifker coming out of the backstretch, and there's Ryan in the middle of the S's.
And I've just seen our first, thank God this is a simulator moment.
From whom?
Tyler Vickery, who's put it behind the wall and kind of had no choice but to, because he got it all wrong coming out of turn one and had... Basically, he flew into the crowd.
Oh, here we go. We finally caught it. Going into one.
Well, didn't fly into the crowd, but...
Catches a little too much of the curb, gets into the dirty stuff, and ooh.
He just basically did a cartwheel around the track.
And scores are in for Vickery. 9.5, 9.5, 9.8, and a 2 from the Romanian judge.
Didn't stick the landing, unfortunately. So.
He stuck the landing, he just didn't like the rest of it, I guess.
I think it was compassion from the Romanian judges, because some of the parts of that car did go flying into the crowd.
Yeah, you got to keep all the parts of the car on the car. As Connor Ojeda now working with Jack Meyer. Meyer's a little bit off pace as Ojeda, who pit started, making some headway already.
Yeah. So Jack Myers down to 15th. He did start 18th though. Jack Myers has actually moved a few positions up, but Connor Ojeda's obviously moved ahead of him now.
And Ojeda's got a lot of clean track in front of him as there's a 10-second gap to Kevin O'Brien. Make that 15-second gap. Hang on to her, Connor.
Myers gets by him.
That's okay. Connor's big picture racing right now, and I know he is.
Yeah, as Chris Simard has a first to say it and you do it kind of moment. Going out of turn 1.
Let's go back and take a look at that one.
It looks like people are starting to struggle on those old tyres now.
That was going through the S's that he changed the flavor of his fire suit.
Yeah, as just an update on the track temperature. The temperatures have taken a nosedive. They're down to 94 degrees Fahrenheit now. So 10 degrees have dropped off since the start of the race, Tony.
And that's going to do nothing but just improve the performance level of these cars, which is weird. Well, no, it'd be that big cloud that's over the track right now that's causing that. As you can see it there, you can see it ever so slightly in some of the camera shots. There's a cloud over the S's portion of the track. There it is, as they're coming out of the boot here. But that's really going to help improve things. As Morganti taking it pit side.
I don't think Morganti had a choice there, because I think he must have biffed something.
Fair enough.
I'm going back to find out.
Meanwhile, Scotty Brinson's still working on Chris Simard right now. As we've seen these two just throw bombs at each other on Wednesday nights. It's interesting to see how it's playing out with the older technology, as both of them still running in the top 10. And this is your closest battle on track.
I was right about Morganti. He did spin it coming out of turn 1. That's why he had to pit, because he damaged his front wing in the process.
So Morganti on the back foot early. Crumry on the back foot early. Vickery has put it behind the wall. Mark Walker not starting, and Robert O'Neill left the session way early.
As Simard makes another mistake here.
And that let Brinson get by going into the heel of the boot.
Oh, good save by Simard. Tried to go round on him, going into through the laces of the boot. Thankfully managed to save it. That did let Scott Brinson through, but Simard, a very lucky boy, as he almost came undone through the laces again.
And Joe Morganti, getting way out of their way, knows that they are a lot faster than he is right now because he's still on cold tires.
Yep.
And Brinson is starting to reel in Ernie Ludwig.
Yep. Brinson, he did say during the hot lap sessions that the longer the car runs, the better it feels for him. I think he's getting to that stage now where the car is starting to come to him, and he's starting to get some speed underneath that number 14 Ragno Penthouse machine.
Very much so. Very much so. As he's already closed the gap from Ludwig from 3 seconds now down to 2.3 seconds. So look for him to be right there in the mix within the next couple of laps.
Absolutely. Good check-up of Sage Karam. He's now 3.5 seconds to the good over Chris Bouchard. Remember, this is a long race, so... And he's not getting away at the same rate as he would on any other road course. So, like I said earlier on, this is a positive thing with all due respect. Because Karam, even though he's 3.5 seconds up the road, he's not getting away at the fast pace he usually does. And that's good. That's good for the viewers.
Well, it's good for the viewers, and it's one of those things where the rest of the drivers can look and go, maybe we can hang with him.
Well, the track, like with the way the track is and the way the conditions are, I'm actually not surprised.
And Mark Walker's finally on the track.
Connection issues, possibly.
I dare say so.
Sage Karam just having to deal with lap traffic just then. Jack Myers has just been lapped by Sage.
And Samar having connection issues too.
Oh dear. Last thing we want is to see that guy drop out. He had a tough one on Thursday. Had a real tough one on Thursday, and it was sad to see his championship fight come to an end the way it did.
Well, when you take all the pieces into play that he had to deal with just to get to the race on Thursday, it's a miracle
Johnny.
he got there at all.
Antonucci in trouble. That's going to have championship consequences. Gets it all wrong coming out of turn one. The car just goes around him and taps Sia by straight into the barrier.
Ow!
Tony Antonucci, one of the championship contenders here, already in trouble tonight, Tony. Sage Karam is in pit road.
Well, it looks like that might be the. Because I'm not seeing any damage on Sage's cars. I haven't gone back live yet. It looks like it might be right around. Time? Yeah, right around green flag stop time.
It did have some slight wing damage.
Oh, there it is. He ate the wall coming out of 11.
Oh, so race consequences there for Sage Karam. So Chris Bouchard inherits the lead after Sage Karam's had to go into pit road to burn a fast repair here.
Had to burn that fast repair early too. Luckily, coming out still in 4th place, they had such a lead that you know he lost a ton of ground to Bouchard, but he was able to, you know, get the tires put on the car, get the fuel put in the car, and back underway, and only lost 3 spots.
And I want to say congratulations to Sage Karam, because he just he's been doing the time attack competition. Let me go into detail with this. The time attack competition that's on iRacing right now is where you turn as many laps as fast as you can around a track that has been given by iRacing, and if you're the fastest driver, you win a testing role with the Porsche Endurance team. Sage Karam has just qualified for the finale in Germany, so big congratulations going out to Sage. That is an awesome achievement for him.
Oh no!
What?
Who's upset? Connor Ojeda.
Oh no!
Oh yes.
Points leader, points implications here tonight, because
let's watch that one again.
Oh, it's through the S's. Oh, got it all wrong coming up the hill, and it just absolutely annihilated him.
Got stuck in the arm going over, she went. Oh, man.
Bouchard and Sifka had to literally drive carefully around that one, because he was in the middle of the track.
Well, that wasn't Sifka, that was Crumry.
Yeah. But Bouchard very close to collecting that, as Sage Karam has put it behind the wall.
Well, what happened to Sage?
The Bard's around as well. Everybody's starting to struggle on old tires now.
Well, let's see what happened. Let's see if we can figure out what happened to Sage. As we're still not live. We're still watching the replay here, folks.
And Samad's behind the wall.
Got it all wrong going into the carousel and just backed it into the tire wall.
Yeah.
And let's see what happened to Samard now. If I had to venture a guess, I'd say something very, very similar.
Yeah, he got it all wrong going into the carousel and backed it into the barrier.
First had net code, disappeared for a little bit. Yep, around she went and bank into the inside wall.
The Sage Karam making a very rare mistake here at Watkins Glen, putting an end to his race earlier, and that's left the advantage in Chris Bouchard's hands as he now has a 13.5-second lead over Nate Siefker. Siefker has dropped right off the pace.
Siefker's gone pit side.
Oh, that's why then.
So it's now a 17.5-second lead over Brandon Ryan, who stayed out.
Yeah. So Siefker, the first man to blink for the pit stand. Chris Bouchard has a advantage here right now, but is Siefker trying to see if he can get the jump on Bouchard for the pit stops, maybe?
Not sure.
I'm still shocked about Karam. That's a tough one.
Well, he'd already burned his fast repair when he tore the front wing off, and he just backed it into the wall going into the carousel and tore the rear wing off. So, out of fast repairs, it was going to be hard to get that car around here without that rear wing.
Yeah, same for Chris Samard. The difference is Chris Samard had that fast repair in hand, so not sure why he took it behind the wall. He did have a chance to get it fixed again. Antonucci and Ojeda have burned their fast repairs now. They're back out on track, albeit one lap down. We've only got 9 cars left on the lead lap here, Tony. It's becoming a bit of a race of attrition already.
It is, and it's good to see it. The fact that they made it as far as they did before cars started having problems is impressive, to say the least. Because this track tonight is not an easy one to get around.
And one man I will say I'm impressed with is Brandon Ryan. He's just kept his nose clean since the drop of the green flag, and has not put a foot wrong so far here tonight. Sitting very comfortably in second place, but that pit stop is yet to come, so he will drop to third. Question is, will he stay out ahead of Dylan Vose? Because I believe Dylan Vose has made a pit stop as well.
Vose has not gone pit side yet.
Oh wow, okay.
Of the cars on the lead lap, Siefker's the only one that's gone pit side, which makes me tend to think that
Strategy.
There's a possibility it's either strategy or he hit something, and I'm not sure which. Good night.
Let's take a look. No, it was a scheduled pit stop.
So no damage going into the pits.
No.
As it looks like Ernie Ludwig going pit side. That's going to hand 5th place over to Scotty Brinson.
So Ludwig, the second man to blink. Ludwig does have front wing damage though, so I wonder if he's hit something. Let's take a look.
Possibility.
No, it looks like he's had that wing damage for a while. So no, it's a scheduled pit stop for Ludwig.
Okay, so about 17 laps in, which means we're looking at least a 2-stop race.
Well, Nate Siefker went in on lap 15, so...
Right, so you put on lap 15, you put on lap 30, and then you're good to the end.
Yeah.
And Bouchard bringing it pit side this time. And I dare say Bouchard has an advantage over some of these other drivers here tonight. Because a lot of these guys are used to driving the more modern open wheel stuff, where you have a button on your dash that you hit that button and it automatically controls the speed down pit lane for you. Bouchard being a full fendered guy like he is, you don't have that button.
Yeah, and watch for Nate Siefker. He's going to be trying to get ahead of Chris Bouchard here. He's coming out of the final turn now. Bouchard is down and away. Bouchard is going to be out well ahead of Nate Siefker here.
We're watching Bouchard go up through the S's, and Siefker's not even in the shot yet.
Remember, oh, Siefker spins it. Siefker spun it coming out of turn 1. Not what you want to see from the man in the number 2, as Scott Brinson is now going to come up and try and pass him.
He dove in hard on Connor Ojeda and just looped it. And you're right, there's Scott Brinson all over his rear wing right now. As we're back live.
I don't think Brinson
has not gone pitch side yet.
No, Brinson realizes that, and he's not tried to make the pass on him. So Brinson just going to let him get away, and Brinson just going to run his own races. He knows he's realistically racing Brandon Ryan, and Brandon Ryan has already made his pit stop. So Brinson not right up there with those top 2 right now.
Well, he's racing Ryan and Dylan Vos, who have both made their pit stops. 5 seconds to the good over Ryan. 16 seconds back further is Dylan Vos. So it's going to be interesting to see how that one plays out when Brinson finally does take a pit side, where he's going to come out in relation to Vos.
Vos making his debut here as well tonight, so good run for him tonight as well. As Brinson finally brings the pit side now.
So Brinson able to stay out 18 laps, crossing for 19 now. Knows he can make it with one more stop.
Yeah, Kevin O'Brien going to be the next one to bring in pit side. Sorry.
I was going to say Nate Siefker, the only one that it's kind of in question a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that. Question is, with that spin now, as Nate Siefker handed the race early on to Chris Bouchard. Oh, Bouchard's got really serious front wing damage. Something's happened to Bouchard.
Let's go back and see if we can see it. It's coming. Here's a previous lap. We're going back further. Oh! He lost it going into the toe of the boot. Oh, wow.
So everybody being affected by the conditions here today.
That was a hard shot.
I wonder if that's let Siefker back in now because of that. Because Bouchard's got to get that fixed.
I don't think he realizes just how bad it is right now. As Siefker's not really... Well, no, Siefker is starting to gain ground on him. As we're back live. What was a 12-second lead at the spin is now down to 8.6.
Okay, some shenanigans going on out on track right now. Just let Chris Bouchard know about the front wind damage, and Nate Siefker chimes up and goes, "I have the psychological advantage."
Fair enough.
So, mind games being played out there tonight.
Well, it's been mind games all night long, because if you take a look at the opening salvo of this race, I don't think Sage Karam expected to be challenged as hard as he was, as early on as he was.
Yeah, as Bouchard's fighting that car right now.
Very much
He's
so.
not happy with that car.
He can't be. And hopefully he hasn't burned his fast repair yet.
I don't think he has. So all he needs to do is try and drag that car to his second pit stop, get that fast repair done, and hopefully he'll stay out ahead of Nate Siefker. Remember, Nate Siefker pitted before Chris Bouchard, so Siefker has to pit first.
Right, but Bouchard's got to go 10 more laps, at least. in order to make it for the pit stop.
Yeah.
And Seifker's already got the lead down to 5.5 seconds.
Yeah. Nate knows he's chasing down a wounded car, so he's going to be absolutely on the limit right now.
And you can see Seifker in the shot finally. Yes, they're at the opposite ends of the back straightaway, but you can see Seifker in the shot finally.
He senses blood in the water. He's been taking tips off Keith Mayato, I think.
Pretty much. There's Jack Myers back in the pits.
Yeah. I believe that's a scheduled pit stop because remember, he's a lap down, so he's off sequence to the rest of the guys out there. Checking with Joe Morganti. He's just running his own race here tonight. Not really getting into any trouble.
Well, he did have some trouble early. He had some front wing damage.
Yeah, he had a spin, but I think that's the only mistake he's made here tonight. He's running in P12, not doing too badly for a person that doesn't normally run on road courses.
Yeah, arguably, I mean, Joe he'll be one of the first to tell you he's not a road course ringer, but looking to make up some, some vindication, I think is the word I'm looking for, after what happened at Elkhart Lake.
Yeah.
Knocking on the door of the top 10 right now.
Yeah, sitting in P12 right now. Crumroy up to the top 10, so good run for him.
Bouchard's gone pit side.
Oh, dear. Yeah, he's taking the fast repair.
Kind of had no choice.
He's taking fuel and tyres as well, so this is an interesting strategy for Bouchard.
24 laps is a big ask.
Yeah. That promotes Nate Seifker up to lead. Brandon Ryan up to second place now. So, Brandon's really got to put his foot to the floor if he wants to stay ahead of Bouchard, because Bouchard, if you know Bouchard as a driver, you know he's going to be absolutely driving like a maniac right now. So, Brandon Ryan's got to be careful.
And there's a little bit of a twitch going into the carousel. A little bit of a twitch going into the boot, too.
Yeah. He's being chased down by Dylan Vose. He knows he's not safe with that DJ-inspired number 019 behind him.
Well, anytime you see a Ligier Formula 1 car on the track, you know you're not safe.
Nope. They were fast cars back in the day.
You're damn right they were.
Yeah.
They just didn't have the greatest of drivers driving them.
Nope. I'll be back in a second.
Go ahead. But following Bouchard right now as he is starting to get that car up to speed. Has already made up 2 seconds on Brandon Ryan. What was a 20-second lead for Ryan. Bouchard's in third, Ryan's in second. What was a 20-second gap is now down to 18.4. And not the place where he was hoping to catch Paul Crumry. This is going to work out to his advantage. Hopefully he doesn't do anything crazy as they drop down into the carousel. And that bump going into that turn has really caught a lot of guys off. As Bunsey letting them both go. So there's Seifker. There's Ryan. Ryan's starting to reel in Seifker too, so that's something to be mindful of. That was an 8-second gap. It's now down to under 7. And we are going to go on board with Chris Bouchard.
I'm back from my race control duties, and
we are on board with Chris Bouchard. Let's follow along a lap and see what Bouchard's going to be doing to try to catch Brandon Ryan.
Yep, and I've been informed it might get dark before this race is over.
It might get dark?
Yeah, it's just after 25 minutes to 6, according to the race clock.
It should already be dark then.
The drivers are saying that the sun's looking rather low.
Oh, Bouchard! Hang on to her, kid. And that's his race.
He didn't hit anything.
Yes, he did.
Oh, no.
Let's watch this again. This is from... trying to save it, and... Bank. Didn't hit that hard, though. There wasn't really any damage, just that's going to... Bouchard's putting it on the hauler. But
problem is, when Bouchard gets rattled, that's when his race starts going downhill.
Right. As we are back live, and Nate Siefker in control of this field. Ernie Ludwig, though, trying to work on Scott Brinson right now. But getting back to what we were talking about with the time clock, if it's 20 past 6 p.m., it should already be dark because sunset in upstate New York tonight was 5:30.
I don't think it's running real time. Because
then they lied to us.
Yeah, it's 20 to 6 according to the clock, so it's not 20 past 6.
Well, that should still be sunset already.
Dark. Yeah.
And this really is your closest battle on track right now. That's Scotty Brinson and Ernie Ludwig. And I believe that's Connor Ojeda in front of him.
Yeah, it is. And trying to lap Connor Ojeda with Ernie Ludwig right on your rear wing. That's not going to be easy. Ludwig already took a look as he was trying to get around Ojeda. And thankfully, Brinson able to get around the 17 and keep Ludwig behind him. But what a battle we're seeing here between the 14 and the 26.
Absolutely. And we know that Ludwig really wants some vindication after last week's Michigan race.
Well, he's already in a good spot. He's already in a top 10, top 5 position. So that's good in itself. But yeah, he'd love to be on that podium. But the only problem is they're 14 seconds off the pace from Dylan Bose.
True story.
Now 10 seconds off the pace. Something's happened to Vose.
Well, let's go take a look.
No, nothing's happened to Vose.
There's some front wing damage on that Ligier.
Yeah.
Not sure where that came from, but there is some front wing damage on the Ligier.
Yeah. Running the only Ford in the field tonight.
I'm sorry, what?
No, they're all Fords. Sorry.
I was gonna say, what did you just say?
You were about to throw me out of the booth, then, weren't you?
I was about to give you a one-way trip to Italy for that one.
Yeah.
Holy cow! Yeah, we're driving.
DFV's in the back. What am I talking about?
They all have DFVs in the back.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Silly man. The only one actually running the blue oval on the side of the car, though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Now, I would like to point out that even though technically it's a, quote, Ford engine, it's not a Ford engine. That's a Cosworth, ladies and gentlemen. Ford had nothing to do with this masterful piece of engineering, other than
If anything,
slapping
it's
their
a
name
testament.
on it.
Yeah. As
This is British engineering at its finest.
only Ludwig made a mistake on the heel of the boot, just then lost a lot of time to Scott Brinson.
Let's go back and take a look.
Oh, Nate's in pit road. He's had a mistake. Nate's wrecked his car.
Yeah, coming out of turn 1. Let's go back and take a look at that one.
Oh, no. This race is taking out some big hitters here tonight, Tony.
That was a big hit, Sam. Go have a look at that one.
I
Wow.
already saw it. That was a side hit. Question is, will Nate... No, Nate's obviously towing, so he's going to lose the lead to...
Nate just broke the first rule of turn 1 at Watkins Glen.
Yeah.
On the exit, the curbing on the exit of that turn. Pick a side. Inside, outside, stay there.
Stay off that rumble strip.
Don't try to straddle it because you will die every time. That hands the lead of the race over to Brandon Ryan.
On his debut. Wow.
What a coup this would be. Started top 4. Has not been outside the top 5 all night long in the Nuclear Banana.
What about Dylan Vos up to second place as well? And Scott Brinson is looking good for a podium here tonight, considering the fact he's been struggling all night with that Arrows machine.
And arguably hates road courses.
Yeah. Ernie Ludwig as well going to move up to 4th place. Marcus Hagman going to move into the top 5. He's comfortably ahead of Kevin O'Brien, who's going to move up to 6th place. James Bunce is going to move up to 7th. Cromroy up to 8th after being at the back for most of the race. And Joe Morganti is going to move into the top 10, Tony.
Maybe?
Yes, he will.
Yeah, it is, because it's going to put Antonucci in 9th, as it just did, as we are now back live.
And everyone's going to move up one because Steve hasn't completely dropped yet. Not on my screen, anyway. Oh, don't do that, Brandon. Wow.
So Morganti moves up into the top 10 there. Brandon Ryan just in control of this field.
Yeah, as Safeguard has put it on the hauler as well, so.
17 laps to go. 26 seconds to the good over Dylan Vos. All he's got to do is just keep it dirty side down and not hit anything. And yeah, you can find me and I'll tell you exactly where I'm moving to. You can come kick me in the nuts because if I just jinxed you. And that's going to bail out Connor Ojeda because that's actually in another lap that's going to move Connor Ojeda into 12th.
Yeah. Thing is, though, he's going to lose points to Johnny Antonucci, who's ahead of him by a comfortable margin.
He is, but Antonucci's in 9th, and Ojeda's about to gain one more spot. As Ludwig taking a pit side.
Yeah, look.
So 17 to go. Dylan Vos blinking heavily.
The sun's starting to go down.
I see that. And the track's starting to cool off. This is interesting. We get to see our first sunset, ladies and gentlemen. And it's at Watkins Glen, a track with no lights.
Yay!
The only lights that are at the Glen are the campfires that happen around this track. See, Watkins Glen isn't really a racetrack. It's a campgrounds and a race breaks out.
Yeah. So I need to figure out what the hell's going to happen if it goes dark right now because We're only 28 laps in of a 45 lap race. If it goes dark before then, I might have to call the race because they won't be able to see a damn thing.
I don't know. So apparently we're going to have to start setting these races to morning.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see that the track is now getting darker. Interesting. I don't know what I don't know what to say about this. Other than this has just gotten very interesting. Oh, look on the bright side. We haven't had to have a full course caution. Right? And Sam is doing admin duties.
So, yeah, the drivers are giving me feedback all the time on the issues out on track, and they're saying it's just fine out there. They're actually enjoying it out there right now.
Well, because if you can give us an update, because unfortunately, Sim Racing Apps has not been plugged into the updated track temperature gauges.
Track temperature right now is 88 degrees Fahrenheit.
88 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, so it's dropped considerably.
Yeah.
16 degrees it's dropped since the race at the start of the race.
Which means that these cars are really going to start to come into their own.
Yep. And it looks like Vos. Is it me or is he starting to close the gap on Brandon Ryan? I can't really tell.
It's just you. That gap's now the gap's now up to 23.5.
Okay. Oh, just because on my screen it's saying 26.2. So.
Yeah, it's 20. It was 23. Now it's up to 26.
Okay.
And green flag stops have started again. Hagman's in. Antonucci is in. Ojeda is in. With 15 to go, they can make it from here.
Yes, they can. And I'm pretty sure it'll stay. We'll get enough light to finish this race off. I mean, it's only for 15 laps now, so. So, this has been a very eventful race here tonight, Tony. I'm very impressed by how this race has gone tonight.
And Conor Ojeda just picked up a lot of time on Johnny Antonucci.
He's a lap behind Johnny Antonucci, though.
He's a lap behind him, but he entered the pits behind him.
Ah, okay. So he's got his lap back from Johnny.
From Johnny, yes. From the rest of the field, not so much.
Nah. So we've only got 12 drivers left in this race.
And if you look, Antonucci just dropped 4 spots on that pit stop.
Yep. You know what? It's actually starting to look really nice out there with the sunset.
The cars are looking sharp.
Yeah.
So my big question is, does this mean, as your leader, Brendan Ryan, taking it pit side, does this mean that we can have night races at every track now?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. What's going on in that head of yours? I know you're planning something. Yeah, I didn't even need to cue the evil laugh then.
I'm thinking Hangover 150.
Oh god. You would not believe the hangover I had on Friday morning, I'll tell you that now.
New Year's Day, 150 laps, Lotus 79 and 49, Irwindale figure 8 at night.
Ooh. You know what? Low budget TV could actually do the figure of 8 World Championships on iRacing now because it's at night. They can do it at night.
If there's light on the track.
True.
The only problem is you would have to get a group of people that understand it's a race, not a demolition derby.
Yeah.
Because inevitably, the vast majority, unfortunately, and this isn't a slam against everybody in iRacing, but there is it appears this way to me, so bear with me a second, folks. The vast majority of iRacing membership think that figure 8 is just a code word for demolition derby, and it's not. There is an art to it. And Brandon Ryan going back pit side?
Popped for speeding.
Popped for speeding. Not good at all. That's going to let the Ligier of Dylan Vos really start to stretch his legs now.
John Morganti's put his car in the hauler. He's really done it this time.
Let's go back and take a look. And it's coming through the toe of the boot.
Oh,
little bit of wing damage and eats the grass and oh.
Absolutely destroyed his car.
Oh yeah.
So we now have 11 cars running.
We still have 11 cars running, and look who just moved up into second.
Mr. Three-Time himself. I can't call him Mr. Three-Time because he's not won it yet, but he will be.
Yeah. Bunsey trying to get out of the way and almost getting it all wrong.
Yep, so thankfully, I believe Brandon Ryan has actually managed to keep hold of his second place.
Third.
Is he third now?
Third.
He's not that far behind Brunson, though. Not
yeah,
that
he
far.
is. Yeah, he is.
Oh, yeah, he is. Oh, yeah,
21 and a half seconds back.
Yeah, I get it.
However, Brinson still has to pit. Dylan Vos is in the pits now. Is Brinson going to inherit the lead there?
Now. Oh.
Vos slid through his box.
Brinson doesn't have to pit.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, does he?
16 laps on his tires with 11 to go. I don't think he's making it from here.
He's got to have the pit stop of his career now, then. If he wants to make it out ahead of those.
Well, he's 11 seconds to the good over Vos. 11 and almost 12. And now he is 12. He's starting to really stretch that on the tires that are worn in. Brandon Ryan is starting to reel in Vos. 8 seconds back.
Now remember, Vos is on cold tires, so he's going to be struggling for a while.
Right.
So, this race is going back and forth. This race is still competitive.
Well, there's a lot of just storyline things that have happened that you're not expecting.
Speaking of which, Conor O'Hara's only one spot behind Johnny Antonucci now.
Right, and they both have already had their money stop. The only thing that's left is Johnny Antonucci might gain a spot on Jack Myers, as Myers still has to have his money stop. So it's not as bad a night for Ojeda as it could have been after putting it on its lid earlier.
Only 2 laps down, I'll take it.
Only 2 laps down, and the closest guy to him, as there it is right there, Antonucci has gotten by Myers. You know, it could have been a lot worse. Because with Antonucci at one point was top 8. And Ojeda was outside the 15. Who, what?
Brandon Ryan's out.
What just happened? He tore the front of the car. Oh my goodness. Here he is coming through the toe of the boot. Catches a lot of curbing. Eats the grass. Here he's coming into the heel of the boot with a head of steam. Oh, eats the grass over the crest of the... Ow!
So Brandon Ryan, it's all come undone for the man making his debut here tonight.
Gets
really
all wrong over the insole of the boot, and just... There's our second, thank God this is a simulator moment of the night. Oh my goodness. 135 miles an hour into that Armco.
Yeah, oh, Brinson gets it all wrong coming out of his final turn. Going into pit road, he gets it all wrong going into the pit road, and that is...
Well, he hasn't burned his fast repair yet, so...
Yeah, he's just thrown away the win, though.
Eesh. Yeah, he's stuck in the Armco. Oh, man.
Oh my God, this is just one thing after another.
Look at the damage on that car. Good grief.
He's going to lose 3rd place if he's not careful, because here comes Marcus Hackman.
He did lose 3rd place. No, not yet. We're back live. Side by side through the S's is not a good idea on cold tires. Look who's in 2nd.
Anna Ludwig.
He
said he wanted retribution for last week, and he's definitely getting it now, isn't he?
Well, vindication anyways.
Yeah. Scott Brinson is going to be racing Marcus Hagman hard for that 3rd place now.
Very much so. As he's right now all over the rear wing of the sensational Swede.
So many ups and downs that this is like a roller coaster, this race.
Well, this track does have some pretty good elevation change.
That's not what I meant.
You see what I did there, though, right?
I saw what you did there. Yeah, I saw what you did there.
But no, I mean, it just. If you're liking what you're seeing, folks, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, share, hit the bell for the notifications. And if you want to get involved in future action, as Hagman almost eats the water barrels at the end of pit road and lets Brinson back by. But if you want to get in on future action, you can find us on our Facebook page, BOFA Indy Classic League. You can find us on the iRacing League page, BOFA Indy Classic League. And the big elephant in the room right now, Sam, is will the name of the series be changing after the first of the year?
Yes, it will.
Okay.
It will become the ESPN Indy Classic Series.
So ESPN Classic. I like it.
Oh, ESPN Classic Series. There you go. Yeah.
There's a joke there.
Yeah, I know.
There's a lawsuit there.
Maybe not then.
There's a lawsuit waiting to happen there. And with Brandon Ryan dropping out, look who just moved into the top 10, Sam.
Connor Ojeda. So many ups and downs. This has been a...
Yeah.
Oh, wow. What a... You know what? This has been a fantastic race for many different reasons. I mean...
Well,
one man is...
Go ahead.
We've had the big hitters retire early. We've had people making unlikely mistakes. We've got a man making his debut that is literally... Well, he's 30 seconds ahead. But we can't really say he's got this race in one hand on the trophy here tonight because we've seen so many people throw the lead away here tonight. It's just unreal here.
Very much so. It's definitely been a roller coaster ride, and it's been impressive to see so many drivers making their BOFA Indy Classic Series debut tonight, and
2 of which are in the top 10.
2 of which are in the top 10, and 3 of whom have led this thing.
Yep. Well, Samad hasn't, but yeah.
Vos has, Chris Bouchard has, and Brandon Ryan did.
Yep.
So three of the guys making their debuts tonight have led this thing. 2 of them that are still running are both, now by default, in the top 10 because there's 10 cars still circulating this track. And Scotty Brinson is starting to reel in Ernie Ludwig.
Yeah. Brinson driving like a man possessed now after that making that mistake. He wants that second place back at least. And by the way he's running, he's on fresher tyres than Ludwig as well. So remember how early Ernie Ludwig made that pit stop? He made that. Scott only made his pit stop about what 5-6 laps ago. So
3 to go. 3 ago.
Yeah. So he's going to be having a much faster car underneath him at this stage of the race.
Well, Ludwig's got less fuel, but Brinson has more tire. So it's going to be interesting to see what that dichotomy gives us as far as, you know, haves and have-nots here with, as we're closing in on 5 to go, as Dylan Vos bringing it out of the boot right there. Now, didn't we say that there was a rule that anyone showing up with a Formula 1 paint scheme to an IndyCar race was going to have to serve a 3-lap penalty?
That means you'd have to give one to Scott Brinson as well.
Yeah, I know.
And someone else is running a Formula 1 paint scheme here tonight. Oh, as Jack Myers brings it pit side.
Myers was 18 laps into his stint. I'm surprised he stayed out as long as he did.
Yeah.
But no, I'm just kidding, folks. I am seriously, that was a joke. We're not giving lap penalties for that. Dylan Vos has earned what he has right now. I'm actually got my fingers crossed that he can keep this thing pointed in the right direction and dirty side down for the next 5 laps.
Yeah. As I need to share with him the TeamSpeak address so we can talk to him afterwards.
Yeah, wait till afterwards and we'll run through the podium backwards. As Scotty Brinson has really reeled in Ernie Ludwig now. As they are 4.5 laps to go for those 2 guys. So Brinson looking to make up for the mistake that he had earlier in the race. Ernie Ludwig looking to get some vindication for last week. And put one on the podium tonight. So
yeah, so it's been a very up and down race, and the people, I will say,
you broke up there, Sam.
it's The driver of the night tonight is going to go to everybody that finishes tonight because it's been an absolute attrition fest tonight. So everybody that's finished tonight, everybody that finishes tonight gets the BOFA Driver of the Night award, I think.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely fair. And Ernie Ludwig struggling on the older tires, 4 laps to go, and Scott Brinson can smell the blood in the water right now.
Yeah.
Knows that he has 9-lap newer tires and can charge the corners a ton harder.
Yeah, Marcus Hagman back there.
Oh! Brinson almost got it all wrong coming over the crest leading into the carousel.
And that's how determined he is to get that second place back. He's doing everything he can to get up to the back of Ernie Ludwig. That mistake might have cost him, but we know Scott Brinson is not going to back out until that checkered flag comes out.
Well, as Brinson once told me it's either bring me the trophy or bring me the steering wheel and a piece of what's left of the car.
Probably the rear wing. He probably loved that penthouse sign on his wall.
True story. Which remind me to tell you a funny anecdote later on that doesn't have anything to do with tonight's race, but so we're not going to talk about that, but does have to do with bringing pieces of race cars to family members.
Yeah.
And Jack Myers has put it on the hauler.
He has not. Scott Brinson's bringing it pit side.
Why? Other than to change his fire
He didn't put enough fuel in the car.
Oh no!
He underfueled the car and he's not got enough
Scotty.
to make it to the end. So that promotes Marcus Hagman back up to third place. Ernie Ludwig in second. Dylan Vose a very clean 31 seconds ahead of Ludwig, and with 2 laps to go at the line, it's
well, Vos still he's bringing it through the boot right now. Through the heel he goes. And getting back to what we were talking about earlier with Ligier, when they were at their apex, they had some of the best quality in car builds of anyone on the grid. The only problem is they couldn't quite secure the drivers that they needed to put those cars in victory lane on a regular basis.
That's true. DJ were like the mid-pack to the front runners and won most of their races in the 80s, but just didn't have enough to make it to the big time. But
well, here's the thing though, when they had their quote success, they were winning with drivers that had no business being on the podium in any car.
Yeah.
Whereas if you took a look at, if you took an Alain Prost, a Niki Lauda, you know, a young Ayrton Senna, and put them in those Ligiers in the early 80s to mid 80s, any one of those 3 drivers would have been multi-time world champion in a Ligier.
Yep.
And unstoppable. They had better build quality than McLaren. They had better build quality than Ferrari. They had better build quality than Williams. They had better build quality than Lotus. It was the fact that the team management could not put a driver in that car that could find their ass with both hands and directions that cost them world championships. So it's good to see Dylan Vos, you know, taking the white flag right now. 32 seconds to the good. All he's got to do is 2.5 more miles. Make that 2.8 more miles with the boot. So he's just got to keep it dirty side down for one more lap. Up through the S as he comes.
At the start of the race, we were not expecting this at all. We were expecting a dogfight between the big guns, Nate Siefka, Sage Karam, Bouchard, but all three of them dropping out of the race. And this race just handed to Dylan Vose, and he's controlled it ever since. He's done ever so well, especially on his debut in this car, on this track. Dylan Vose has been the masterclass of the field. Question is, would he have been able to stick with them if the big guns did not drop out tonight? Would he have been up there with them?
Well, here's the thing, and this is the way it was explained to me one time. The race is 45 laps.
Yeah.
Who completed 45 laps the quickest?
Oh, Dylan Vose.
There you go. Dylan Vose, class of the field tonight. Doesn't matter that fast lap of the race goes to Brandon Ryan with a 35.6. No, I take that back. Chris Bouchard with a 34.4 quick lap of the race.
As your winner of the race is Dylan Vose. Fantastic first race for the man in the Ligier inspired number 019. What a debut. What a race, Tony.
I'm impressed. I am seriously impressed with this young man. You know,
I'm seriously impressed with this race.
Well, we talked about it in the pre-race that it was going to come down to who could, who could keep the car under them the longest, and it was going to come down to a driver's track. Dylan Vose did not put a wheel wrong all night. Did not have to burn his fast repair. I think he touched the grass twice throughout the entire event. So, for him to be able to just show up and basically eat everybody's lunch, because, I mean, yeah, there were faster guys on the track, but he was the most consistent.
Absolutely. Well,
let's reach out to, as we're waiting for him to get into TeamSpeak, we are going to go in reverse order and reach out to the sensational Swede himself, Mr. Marcus Hagman, just finishing up his lap now.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir. It's good evening over here in the States, but morning to you. Marcus, you gotta be proud of the finish you had tonight. Stayed out of trouble most of the night and put the car on the podium. Talk to us your thoughts of how the car was feeling all night long with the new changes that iRacing made.
Well, for the first, I can say I was not expecting that. Not with a high level of drivers tonight, but I'll take it. The car was quite good actually. Came to me more and more during the evening. It felt great actually.
Well, I mean, it's good to see you up there on the podium. Your thoughts when you saw Brinson take it pit side with 4 to go?
Yeah, I was just I thought he was afraid of doing an interview, but then I heard he actually ran out of fuel or miscalculated the fuel, which is a shame. He should have been ahead of me, but that's the game.
Well, that's one thing that Sam and I were just talking about. When you hit upon it yourself when you said the heavy hitters that were in the field tonight. It's something that was explained to me when I was a young person. I was like, yeah, he shouldn't have won that race. Well, how long was the race? 45 laps. Who did the 45 laps the quickest? Well, he did. Well, then he won the race. You were able to do all 45 laps quicker than, all but 2 other people. So, congratulations on the podium, my friend.
Thank you so much. I'll take it any day of the week.
Now, Sam, where are we next week?
We are off to Pocono next week.
So the Tricky Triangle. Marcus, any experience at the track up in lovely, picturesque Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania?
Not in an open wheel car, and it seems like I have no luck with the oval races, but I'm up there, but something always happens. I always get caught in another man's wreck, but I'll keep trying.
Well, that's all you can ever really do is just keep slugging away at it, and with any luck, we'll be talking to you a little later in the broadcast next week.
I hope so. Thank you guys, and thanks to my team. And if you look real close, I'm actually driving a Saab, not a Lotus.
Okay, so the only Saab in the field tonight.
Yeah, so top Saab.
Uh, we've lost all control of this broadcast. Marcus, again, congratulations. Try to get some sleep, my friend.
I will. Thank you. Good night.
So that was third place, Mr. Marcus Hagman. Joining Sam now is our first runner-up, Mr. Ernie Ludwig. I think.
As I'm with Ernie right now. Ernie, a fantastic drive to second place there. Was under a bit of pressure there from Scott Brinson before he had to pit, but this has got to be retribution for the heartbreak that happened last week, right?
You betcha. Yeah, I'm quite happy with how things worked out. Hated to see Scott have troubles. Nate, Sage, I don't know what happened to them guys, but it was a shame to see them go off too.
Absolutely, but it did pave the way for you to get your first podium of the season here, Ernie. Judging by how things went out there, how did the car feel for you? Feel for you out there, especially with the new dynamic sky and the ever-changing conditions?
I had no problems at all handling this car. I'm a little slower than the rest of the guys, but I kept it clean and incident-free, and that's what helped me, I think. I made up time just on account of being clean and incident-free. With Scott behind me, he was pushing me real hard. I could see him catching me, and I was pushing a little harder than I should have been, and I was losing lap time on account of it. But I'm really happy with the result I did end up with.
Absolutely. And just talk us through that battle with Scott. I mean, I know he had fresher tyres than you, but were you expecting him to battle you a bit more? Did you know that he had less fuel than he put in?
I didn't have a clue. I thought for sure he was going to go by me, and that would be that. But yeah, I didn't know he was coming in. He didn't have enough fuel.
Okay, Ernie. Well, next week we go to the tricky triangle known as Pocono. Just give us your thoughts on that, and do you reckon you're going to try and get some oval retribution after Michigan?
Usually the ovals I do pretty darn good. Pocono's a different animal for me though. I'm kind of hot and cold at that place. I prefer Indianapolis, but Pocono, I'll give it a go.
Absolutely, and that should be a fun race for everybody involved there. Is there anybody you'd like to thank for tonight's second place, or anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
Just you, of course, Sam. You've been awesome having this league going. Scott, everybody involved. Nate, kudos to him with all the videos he puts out, keeps us all informed as to different things. Just everything going on. BOFA, thanks for everything you do.
Okay, Ernie, congratulations one more time for the second place, and we'll see you next week from Pocono.
Thank you very much.
As that was Ernie Ludwig. Joining Tony right now is the man of the hour, making his debut here tonight at Watkins Glen and bringing home the checker flag. He's with Tony. That's Dylan Vose.
Helps if I turn my microphone on. The first driver to drive a Ligier who deserves to win a race. Dylan Vose, congratulations on the victory tonight, sir.
Thanks, guys. I really wasn't expecting it. I just wanted to finish. But everything went well tonight, I guess.
Well, it was like Sam and I were talking about earlier. As far as when we talk about, well, what would have happened and what could have happened, like, well, the race is 45 laps. Right. Who completed the 45 laps the quickest? Dylan Vos. Not much more you can say about that one, man. You didn't put a wheel wrong all night. Spot on your pit stops. You didn't gamble on fuel. You just ran your race and let the attrition come to you. Um, I mean, how was the car feeling out there? Because we heard a lot of guys a little concerned going into the event that they were a little concerned with the track temperatures and you know how everything was feeling during the hot lap session. Your thoughts on the setup tonight?
Setup was actually pretty good. It was very drivable. It was a little bit on the sketchy side if you pushed it, but if you didn't push it and you knew what it was going to do, it was perfect.
Fair enough. Now, as the sun started to go down and the track temperature started to drop, uh, you know, did you find you could push the car a little harder, or was it still not something you were willing to do tonight?
You know, honestly, I wasn't really willing to push it at all. I was just kind of out there making laps. Because I saw Sage and those guys putting down 34s. I tried to push during practice, but I couldn't figure out what they were doing that I couldn't find. So I just was kind of running my own race. I really didn't have much of a strategy. I was just thought, let's just see if tires and fuel will work all the way out. And I'm actually surprised that it worked as well as it did.
Well, you really had a really impressive drive in your debut with the BOFA Indy Classic League. As we move forward, next week we're going to be in the picturesque Pocono Mountains at the Tricky Triangle of Pocono Speedway. Your thoughts on that facility?
Well, that depends. Is it I'm assuming it's the oval, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the old one.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that one. This is the most I've had period in this type of car. So as long as it's a fit setup, then I guess I can figure out a way to drive around whatever problems I have. So
Well,
I guess we'll see.
it's going to be a Tony setup, so we'll figure that one out when we get to it.
It's going to be a what?
You're gonna be doing the setup, aren't you? So it's going to be a good setup, like you know. We'll
Bitch,
figure
I'm
that out.
moving this week.
Oh yeah. Who's making the setup then?
Throw Indy at it.
Oh God.
No,
Yeah, but
I'll figure something out. But you know, Dylan, again, awesome race. It was fun to watch you do what you do. Very impressive drive that you had. Again, you didn't you appeared not to have put a wheel wrong all night. If I'm not mistaken, you were one of only two drivers in the field that didn't have to burn their fast repair.
No, actually, I burned my fast repair. I think it was first run. I spun out going into not the toe of the boot, but the heel area, and I hit the back end. I hit the wing. I didn't really hit it that hard, but I hit it enough to where that I had 18 seconds worth of repair, and I just thought, I'll deal with it for the next run and a half, and then pit and get everything fixed. So, no, there were a little bit of follies, but not necessarily as bad as any of the other guys. I feel bad for Scott, who was leading there. That was his race to lose.
Well, he had to pit before you anyways because he was already 16 laps into his stint when he went pit side, and I'm thinking it was one of those, oh crap, I've got to pit, and went to go throw it in there at the last second, and unfortunately it really unbalanced the car trying to get onto pit lane. But you know, you definitely had a very impressive debut here in the BOFA Indy Classic League. Is there anybody you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for once again giving us a platform to where that we can show off as a group what our driving skills are, and showing that being an oval guy, you can actually kind of run these leagues if you pay attention to them. So just thanks to you guys again, and thanks for Top Fuel for putting this thing on. It was a fun race.
it was actually me that put the race on, but anyway.
Isn't it under the Top Fuel banner though?
Nope.
No.
Oh, well then, thank you, Sam. Then
The admins over at Top Fuel have been, you know, just they've given a lot of help to Sam for putting this on, and you know, kind of guidance, and you know, maybe if you tried this or maybe if you tried that. So yes, there is a connection with the Top Fuel guys. They let us use their team speak. They let us you know, pick their brains as far as, you know, trying to get a good setup in the car. But this league, Sam Cooper Bennett is the chief cook and bottle washer. He does everything except actually create the setup. but he kind of gives me guidance when I have to do so, and I do what I can to try to help him with that. But yeah, iRacing has definitely thrown us a curve with the new dynamic weather.
Yeah, the one thing I will add on that is when the sun went behind the clouds, you could visibly tell that we were getting close to the end of the day, and it got really, really cloudy there for a couple laps, and I thought for sure we'd be finishing in complete darkness, but you got it right, so it works.
Yeah, we're already planning on some fun, crazy things to do at different tracks later on because of that little foible that they're allowing to happen now.
Well, can I just add one thing too? Make sure that the tracks have lights, whatever you're gonna do.
Oh no, that's the fun of it.
All right, I'll show up for those then. Thanks again, guys.
Dylan, again, congratulations, my friend.
Yeah, thank you guys. Have a great night.
Well then, what a race, Tony.
Sam, I can't say how impressed I am with the outcome that we just saw. As Dylan Vos wasn't really on the radar going into the start, but as the race started clicking off laps, he was steadily climbing the ladder, and here we go, top rung, taking home the checkered flag tonight. That's an impressive drive.
And he didn't have to fight for those positions either. It was literally just handed to him on a platter. And once he did have control of the race, he just did not let it go. And that's what that was the key thing that brought him the victory tonight. He didn't have to fight all night. He was just running his own race, and he ultimately got the best reward for it. So kudos going out to Dylan Vos tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, and heartbreaker for like we mentioned, some of the quote heavy hitters, as Bouchard led a handful of laps, wasn't able to finish the race. Siefker led a handful of laps, wasn't able to finish the race. Sage Karam led quite a few laps, wasn't able to finish the race. Chris Simard, probably not the debut he was looking for, but still, all in all, it was a good race. It was a good turnout, and I'm hoping that the number the field size stays growing like it has been. I mean, this was an impressive turnout for a road race at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, and Watkins Glen is always a popular track with anybody, no matter what car you're in, and definitely proved that again tonight. I mean, I did do some pre-race recruiting. Obviously, Dylan Vos was actually recruited this evening. I just thought I'd throw him out an invite. Thankfully, he accepted. I'm pretty sure he's glad he accepted the invite as well. So that's why we had 5 new drivers in tonight, because I was just went on a recruiting spree, and I'll definitely be doing that again before we go to Pocono next week.
Now, which version of Pocono are we using next week?
We are using the old layout, so
the one that has the grass on the infield, not the wall that will kill you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Sam, that's going to about do it for us tonight. Let's take a quick rundown of our finishing order. Coming home with the victory in his debut race, Dylan Vos, impressive drive for that young man. Ernie Ludwig hanging on for second. Marcus Hagman coming home in third. Scotty Brinson, after running it out of fuel, gambling on the fuel on his final stop, unfortunately guessed wrong, coming home in fourth. Kevin O'Brien, good finish for him. This is going to be a real good points night for Kevin, coming home in fifth. Another good points night for Paul Crumry, as he's going to come home in sixth. Grumpy James Bunce coming home in seventh. Johnny Antonucci in eighth. Connor Ojeda in ninth. So top 2 in points. Not a lot of separation between those two after 11 races. And Jack Meyer rounding out your top 10. Sam?
Brandon Ryan, disappointed in the 11th place, led for a few laps and ultimately getting it all wrong and having to retire. Joe Morganti coming home in 12th, a disappointing race for him. Another disappointing race for Nate Siefka. He makes an unusual mistake. He comes home in 13th, and Chris Bouchard on his debut, not what he wanted to see after leading a good portion of the laps. He finishes in 14th. A shock retirement for Sage Karam on a road course. He is in 15th. Chris Simard on his debut is in 16th. Tyler Vickery 17th, and Mark Walker only turning one lap. That's not going to be enough for provisional points, unfortunately, Mark. I'm sorry. He is an 18th, and Bobby O'Neill not taking the green here tonight, so that rounds out your field of, well, 18. So, good field here tonight. Just want to touch on the points here before we go, Tony. Conor O'Hader only lost 1 point tonight, so there's the gap is down to 29 points between Conor O'Hader and Johnny Antonucci. Kevin O'Brien has moved up to third place in the standings. He's 54 behind the leader, so he's got a bit of ground to make up. Mark Walker is in fourth. Nate Siefker is in fifth. Marcus Hagman is in sixth. Seventh is Scott Brinson. Eighth is Paul Cromroy. Ninth is Sage Karam, and dropping to 10th after leading the championship earlier in the season is now Bradley Allison. So Bradley Allison, if he comes back, he's lost a lot of ground since he's been missing these last couple of races.
Yeah, not sure what's been going on with Brad. He hasn't been in any of the normal races that we were used to seeing him in.
Not at all, and we hope to see him back soon. Hopefully, he can get back on the right side of things and make his way back up the table. But it's slowly turning into a two-horse race here for the championship, Tony, as Conor O'Hader and Johnny Antonucci have got themselves a bit of breathing room over Kevin O'Brien, who's in third place right now.
Absolutely, but if you take a look at your top three, your top four, to be honest with you, because you got to include Paul Crumright. Paul is fourth, right?
Didn't you say? No, he's down in eight. No, he's down in eighth.
Okay, but you take a look at your top three in points with Conor O'Hader, Johnny Antonucci, and Kevin O'Brien. Not three guys who are going to go out there and set the track on fire every week, but they're going to go out there and they're going to race smart. They're going to race to where they know they can get a good finish out of the night. And that's really what wins championships, is racing smart like that. And you've got three guys at the top of the heap right now that are doing that week in and week out.
Absolutely, as Nate Siefker is slowly creeping up the board as well. He's in fifth place, so don't count him out. Mark Walker obviously having a really bad night tonight. He's lost a lot of ground on the top three. He was knocking on the door of being up there with those guys, but unfortunately only ran one lap tonight, which wasn't enough to give him any points tonight.
Right, but here's the thing. Walker's new computer's coming in.
Absolutely.
That's getting delivered not this coming week, I believe it's getting delivered.
Yeah. Another man that's creeping up the table as well is Mr. James Bunce. He's collected his fifth top 10 in a row tonight. So that has got to be something that you've got to be impressed with. James Bunce, since he made his debut 5 races ago,
has not finished outside of the top 10. I just realized that. You're right.
Yeah. So James Bunce is in 17th in the points, but if he keeps getting these top 10s, he's going to be much higher than he is right now. Another man that's moving slowly up through the table is Marcus Hagman. He's up there right behind Nate Siefker. He only made his debut. Tonight was only his 7th race, and he's had 4 top 5s and 6 top 10s.
And remember, we're not taking drop weeks like some of these other leagues take.
No, and we're not doing provisionals either. So
there's no provisionals, there's no drop weeks, and there's no playoff format. It's however many points you collect throughout the season is how many points you collect throughout the season.
That's it.
And if you want to take a look at who's leading the point standings and why he's leading the point standings, Conor O'Hader has not missed a race all season.
Yep, he's only had 1 top 5 all season, and he's still leading the standings. That has got to be the most impressive championship run he's had so far we've ever seen in any of the leagues we've broadcasted on this channel. That has got to be probably one of the most impressive runs we've seen. A man that's only had 1 top 5, no wins, but has turned up for every race, but still leads the championship. That's consistency. That's dedication.
It's dedication. It's consistency. But the other thing you've got to remember too, Conor's not even 25 years old. So the fact that he's showing as much racecraft as he is, to realize I don't have to win every week. I just have to finish every week and finish decent every week. to get the points I need to maintain this points lead. And he knows who's racing around him. He knows who is around him in the point standings. He knows who's around him on track. And I'll tell you right now, when he saw he was within striking distance of finishing, one spot behind Johnny Antonucci, he was doing everything he could to make sure that he kept the car safe, kept the car under him. Those are the first two priorities. Third priority was not let Johnny Antonucci get too far in front of him.
Yeah, and thankfully Johnny Antonucci was only one spot ahead of him, only one lap ahead of him. So Conor Hayder, he lost points tonight, but he only lost 1 point. So his damage limitation for Conor Hayder, and he's still in a very decent spot at the top of the table there. And Johnny, if he wants a chance at this championship, and same for everybody else behind him, Kevin O'Brien's in within striking distance, same with Mark Walker. Probably not Nate Seifker or Marcus Hammond because they're over 100 points back, but definitely Antonucci, O'Brien, and Walker. If they need to get up there with Conor Hayder, they need to step their game up with the next few races coming up.
And how many races are left, Sam?
We're at round 11, 7 races left. So it's an 18 race season. So
okay. Well, that is going to do it for us tonight. We will see you. I will see you Wednesday night as Top Fuel Racing takes to Road Atlanta, and then we will be back next Sunday from Pocono with the BOFA Indy Classic Series. Sam and I'll be in the booth for that one, and in case I don't get my move done in time, or something goes horribly wrong, in case I don't get to see you folks, happy holidays.
Absolutely. Good night, guys.